one of a friend who we became friends with at the time, Jason Jones. Actually, I think some of you
He's
met.
awesome. He was on the radio with me.
Yeah, so Jason is great. He was at the same conference. He's like, I'm going to find you your wife, David. I'm like, have at it. I need all help I can get. And he was on the phone with Tarek, and he's like, hey, tell David Elena has a crush on him. Which I kind of like, obviously she does. But I can't find her. And I finally found, I searched through her, she was using a nickname on MySpace. So she almost evaded me. And I sent her what was a ridiculously awesome email on MySpace. And I pressed send and my computer froze.
Awesome.
You don't know if it goes or not. Sitting there like, what do I do?
Do you rewrite it?
So you don't want to try to resend it.
I can't resend it.
I duplicate.
Yeah,
cable guy.
Yeah. So I waited about 48 hours and I sent her a note. I said, listen, I sent you the most charming email in the world. You must not have gotten it because you haven't responded.
You are a beatitude.
But I'm giving you another chance to respond here.
That is awesome.
Welcome to the show. There's no way to transition out of that word.
Nope. Jeff's wearing his tight pants today.
Thanks for noticing. Hey, everybody. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Attitudes. This is a show for Christian men seeking to grow in their walk with Jesus Christ and in their faith with a unique combination of humor and holiness that brings us all together. My name's Jeff Scheffelbein. I'm one of the Beatitudes. I'm joined by Beatitude Nick Besner.
What's going on, Jeff?
And Beatitude Paul Kolker.
Hello there.
Hey there, buddies. Hey, so if nobody's ever watched this show, it actually turns funny at some point. We'll get there. But we do truly blend together the silliness and the spirituality of life. And I think what's so neat about this is just the feedback that we've been getting about all the people who want to become sponsors. So that's...
No, but what you can do right now is go subscribe or share the show with somebody because we've been getting a lot of great feedback. We've had people tell us that this is helping them maybe even reapproach the faith at times, and it's really humbling. But so yeah, please share the show.
Isn't that wild? Like even some of the episodes where you know that we were just laughing, right, and having a great time, but that we still kept faith at the forefront of it, and really just lived our lives in this authentic way. Even the goofiness of the show, I think, brings people back to this conversation of like, okay, where does that joy come from? What is this all about? Why are these men cool talking about Jesus and the sacraments and their brokenness and their walk and guardian angels? And I mean, fill in the blank. Like, why are they cool talking about this? And then they're not afraid to cover tough topics and then figure out how to use the internet. I mean, we cover it all. So if you missed the last show, boy, you
range in a word.
Right. We went to.
I learned a lot.
11.
We took it to 11, and I learned that there's a thing called the internet.
Yeah. Well, and it's great because we also learned that our guest here, David Colletti, a.k.a. Colletti, has a photographic memory. I'm just going to keep putting it out there. So now you know about the internet. Congratulations.
You can't prove it wrong.
That's true.
Let's give him a test right now. No.
I remember exactly what's on that board. Jeff has hair. Paul has hair.
Yeah, you missed it too.
That was perfect.
That was good.
Do you want to explain to people the prep we give for our guests? What's over my shoulder so that while you're talking you can remember what's going on here?
Yeah. Jeff's old. Paul has hair. Apparently the other guys don't. And Nick has a laugh.
Our most identifying characteristics next to our names so that the guest can know who we are.
And David is tough.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
He does mixed mergers and acquisitions. You got to watch out for this guy.
Oh. Every time he buys a company, it's a cage match.
That's it. And he wins.
I watched in a 72-hour cage match, he got, what's the name of that company? That you bought? Speedway to tap out.
Yeah, that's it.
There it is.
And his wife didn't care.
Nor his
Not
children. Not impressed.
No.
You know, your wife thought that you were operating with a lot of pride and prejudice is what I understood it to be.
Go back and watch the previous episode if you want to catch anything of what we're saying. Yeah, so far.
Well, speaking of the previous episode, I got some points to make up on the two of you right now because somehow you just took the lead by whatever number. We'll have to go to the tapes.
Couple hundred.
And
several hundred.
I'm the only one in the 3-digit range right now on the show. So maybe can we at least just get me over 1,000? Just pick me.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to play a game
called Blessed Are the Joke Makers. This is going to be a big one. We're just going to be new precedents here. This is bonus bonus edition is going to be worth 175 points.
That's a good one. I feel good about this.
Okay.
Kind of.
And the way this one works, it's a bonus episode. So what we're going to do is we each have a character card, and we're trying to get you to guess what character we're playing.
Okay.
So we all have the same prompt, but and again, these characters are not like specific names. It's more like a category or type of character, type of person. So we all have to. We got to try to lead you down the rabbit trail to figure out who we are.
Don't say Ronald Reagan. Say a president.
Yeah, exactly.
Say it when I'm talking. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay, so our prompt is other things Abraham could have sacrificed.
Abraham came up short. Abraham could have sacrificed more work. And Abraham could have sacrificed his home for the nation. And Abraham could have sacrificed his food for all. And Abraham could have sacrificed his entire soul for the union.
The hand raised at the end threw me off. That was very. I don't even want to say what that was.
Yeah.
Go more generic.
But, yeah. The overbearing or commanding military leader.
Authoritarian dictator.
Oh, that's
And that's a tough one to not come across like very offensive. So my hand raise was not a specific salute. It was a bit of the wave for the union.
I totally thought Putin.
Putin. That's I channeled him big time.
There you go. You okay?
No, I need a
I think the bare chest and the lack of hair also goes with Putin.
Yeah.
chest. Turn into
Yeah.
YouTube.
I mean, you took off your shirt. It was a bold choice.
If you're not on YouTube, you don't know if he's lying.
You're missing out.
Yep.
My friends will tell you it's all the time. Okay.
Okay. I'm looking into your alternate futures, Abraham, and what I'm seeing is you could have sacrificed magic, black magic. You could have sacrificed any dabbling in that at all because it's terrible. You could have sacrificed any number of the Chaldeans you were leaving because they weren't great people. And you are a Virgo.
Okay, I'm blanking on the right word, but tarot card read. I'm thinking like, what is that? Like you call up 1-800 numbers at night if you like want to know the future.
I mean, that's the idea.
Yeah.
Extremely clairvoyant, psychic. Yeah.
Nice.
Extremely.
Very good.
Extremely.
I don't know how to
Is that identifier? I mean, we're not even playing this game right. We're mixing two games together and then with our own rules
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Because I mean, like clairvoyant psychic wouldn't be enough.
extremely. Because clairvoyancy has levels.
Yep.
Yes.
I'm a level 2 clairvoyant.
Come on.
Well,
to 11.
first, I must say, everyone knows I am the best.
Long dramatic pause.
It's going to pop his collar.
Abraham could have sacrificed the damsel in distress. She didn't need help. I needed help. That's a joke. I don't need help. I'm the best. I could have saved her if I wanted to.
I'm thinking arrogant beauty pageant contestant.
So close.
So he's gonna
Keep going. Tell us what it is.
Egotistical superhero.
Oh, nice.
Superhero and pageant winner are not as close as you're acting.
the arrogant egotistical
yeah.
part. Like that was hard.
No, you
nailed
get
that.
To me, that was harder to get across. But the superhero part, I could have played up more.
Yeah,
Which was what I was going to do. But then you cut me off.
Oh, he cut you off.
He guessed. He guessed.
Like once the guess is out there, it's out there. What say ye?
What say you, sir?
Did I win?
You have to pick. There's 175 points on the line.
I'm going to go with Jeff's authoritarian dictator.
Ah, there you go. With the Jeff winning music.
He needed it. He got it. It's Jeff Scheffelbein.
It was mainly the gestures.
Yeah.
We might all be in triple digits now.
I'm not.
You're not?
No,
I thought you were close.
Quadruple digits.
Quadruple
Yeah.
digits. Thank you. Yeah, I got a numbers good.
I think I'm just gonna stop at 999. I feel cool about that number. That's what I'm aiming for.
There you go.
I play I play my cards based on.
Don't you know? Well, we'll get there.
Don't you know? We'll get there. David, you've been so giving to me today with that 175 points. And so that comes right into the theme of this bonus show, which is giving. Again, I will be your hype man for a second. You are the kind of guy that will do incredible work behind the scenes. And I want you to share with the folks kind of the work behind Hope Supply. That's one of those things. Actually, Hope Supply, and I also want to talk about the T-shirts and the brands. So go for it. Let's hear what you got going in your life. Outside of buying $23 billion companies.
21. I'm not that egistical.
Hey, you got 15,000
I'm not an egotistical
stores
superhero.
To go.
I could have used a few more thousand there.
Yeah.
Anybody knows of a few thousand stores available, let me know.
Yeah, call David. No, let's talk about this. Actually, let's go Lionheart first. What's Lionheart?
So Lionheart Apparel really is, so actually exactly what we're doing here kind of was the idea to start Lionheart Apparel. So my best friend from college, Tarek Saab, and I, we were both starting our early professional careers, myself in New York. He was working for TI down here, but he was, I think, out in California at the time and traveling around the world. And both of us had this hunger and thirst that, we had a professional life that wasn't fulfilling. And so what do we want to do to fill our tank and then ultimately give back to others? And we thought there was a hole for men. And that hole for men was every magazine at that time was GQ, was Details, was, ESPN. It had some kind of cool things we liked in there. Hey, men's health, let's work out. But then there's always someone like, here's how to hook up with a girl. Here's how to, be sexier. Here's how to do something that was not in line with our morals and values as Catholic men. And so we came up with the idea. It was, let's start a Catholic men's magazine. And I have a really smart cousin. It's always important to surround yourself with really smart people. Who was working for Time Magazine at the time, and he's talking to him in New York. He's like, first people like, don't start a magazine. They don't make any money. I was like, well, it kind of just killed our idea there. He's like, if you want to start a magazine, you got to start a brand. He's like, ESPN's magazine is successful because ESPN, the brand, is successful. So he's like, so what do you guys stand for? What is the brand? And we knew we stood for was like Catholic manliness, men, and we wanted to have that identifying factor that if I walk down the street and I see Nick, I think, hey, good guy with good guy with a laugh. Right, is what I'm going to think. But I'm not going to know, is he Catholic? Is he Christian? Is he, is he Jewish? What does Nick stand for? If he's wearing a Cowboys shirt, I'm going to think a little less of him. I'm going to know he cheers for the Cowboys. And so both of us, we were pretty, devout, working on being devout Catholics. Also, big into our sports and stuff. So at the time in 2005, T-shirts were all the rage. Like, you went out, you wore a T-shirt. Okay, we wear T-shirts. I had T-shirts that vote for Pedro because it was in that movie Napoleon Dynamite. Yeah. And we came with the idea of how do we develop T-shirts, clothing for men that isn't overtly Christian, but is Christian, Catholic. And if somebody saw you wearing a T-shirt, saw you wearing a ball cap, saw you wearing a beanie, they'd say, I recognize that sign. It's the Cairo. I recognize, or maybe I think I recognize that sign. What is it? So we developed a men's T-shirt company that turned into then T-shirts, hats, beanies. Yeah. We had polos for a while. And the whole idea was, if you'd wear your favorite jersey, if I wear an Eagles jersey, why wouldn't I wear a T-shirt that represented my faith? Yeah. To trigger those conversations. And even today, wear them, and I'll be in an airport or something, and somebody, one we have a fleur-de-lis that says, putting out your trust in men. And everybody's like, oh, you from Louisiana? I'm like, no, actually, this is about Mary. And it just gives you that opportunity to trigger a conversation. Yeah. And I've had conversations with random people at a bar, flight attendants, whatever it may be, because they think they know what the shirt says, and then you get a conversation, and it's our little way to evangelize. It's cool. It's been a labor of love, and kind of just still out there as a T-shirt company for men, with a few other things, but someday maybe God calls me to do more with it. And the cool thing about it, which actually partly led to me and my wife, is we donate 10% of our profits to pro-life charities. And so that led to me and my wife, because we were looking for a pro-life charity and called an ex-girlfriend at the time and asked her, like, hey, what are some good pro-life charities? And one thing led to another. She thought I was trying to get back together. I wasn't. And my wife was her roommate at the time, and a year later I married.
So wait, finish that story out. Hold on.
We skipped a few details.
So we were at a conference that we got invited to introduce our T-shirts, our company, to people there who had the ability to connect us with different companies, different donors, investors. My wife was working for Metanoia Films at the time, which put out Bella. This was 2006. So she was there, and I had gotten introduced to the three amigos, Leo, Alejandro, and Eduardo, through another connection, actually another girl I had gone on a few dates with. And she connected with them. They're like, well, bring some of your shirts. We'd love wear your gear. And I get there, and there's this beautiful blonde woman there, and I'm told she's, hey, she's been asking about you. I'm like, That's awesome. And she's Catholic. I'm like, all right. This is like, I was single time. I was like, hey, God's good.
And you're wearing a T-shirt, which makes you 2006 cool.
Yeah. Well, actually, no, I wasn't. I was wearing a suit.
Oh, no.
And I
I
was actually, as you said, a little bigger at the time and stuff. And I scared the heck out of my wife because she was from California and she thought all guys were meant to be like little tiny surfer guys.
Shots fired.
It's California.
Eat surfers for breakfast.
My coworker Marshall, former colleague, he is short and he is a surfer.
Exactly.
You're not going to find too many big dudes on a surfboard.
Touche. Yeah. It's just physics.
It turned out her roommate was a woman I dated. And when I'd asked this question, it triggered this, oh, David must want to get back together. And so she came there with her other colleague looking to like apparently pepper me with questions, see if I wanted to get back together with this other woman. And I'm just trying to, schmooze, charm Elena, and she's having none of it. I'm trying to picture like my awesome looking puppy that I had, American Bulldog, and nothing was working. The next day I leave and she like ignored me the next day too, and get back. That's October 13th, 2006. Get back and I had to leave early to go to a baptism with my goddaughter. And I'm telling my sister, she's like, oh, I love this girl already. Like, you mean she's actually like ignoring you?
That's awesome.
I tried to find her on the internet. It's like this weird thing, the internet. I couldn't find her. I looked on Myspace at the time.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't know if maybe I couldn't get on the internet properly. Who knows?
I call that Myspace.
Myspace. And I didn't find her, and then got an opportunity because one of a friend who we became friends with at the time, Jason Jones. Actually, I think some of you
He's
met.
awesome. He was on the radio with me.
Yeah. So Jason is great. He was at the same conference. He's like, I'm going to find you your wife, David. I'm like, have at it. I need all help I can get. And he was on the phone with Tarek, and he's like, hey, tell David Elena has a crush on him. Which I kind of like, obviously she does. But I can't find her. And I finally found, I searched through her, she was using a nickname on MySpace. So she almost evaded me. And I sent her what was a ridiculously awesome email on MySpace. And I pressed send and my computer froze.
Awesome.
You don't know if it goes or not. Sitting there like, what do I do?
Do you rewrite it?
So you don't want to try to resend it.
I can't resend it.
Does
I
it duplicate?
Yeah,
cable guy.
Yeah. So I waited about 48 hours and I sent her a note. I said, listen, I sent you the most charming email in the world. You must not have gotten it because you haven't responded.
You are a beatitude.
But I'm giving you another chance to respond here.
That is awesome.
And she actually responded within a few hours of that one. And as I tell it, she obviously did have a crush on me because then she asked for my phone number.
Did the first one make it through, the first email?
She claims it didn't. So
I don't know.
I'm going to go with it didn't because it really was charming. I mean, I think I worked a lot harder on the first one. The second one probably was a lot better. Like one line to the point. And like, even if I'd never sent the first one, like she wouldn't know if it did get lost in the internet. Like that would just be a great line. Like, hey, I sent you an awesome
anybody
Back in the day, things
Yeah.
would just get lost in the internet. So
Yeah,
Touche.
that's how it works. You can't trust if it's actually going to get there because of traffic and stuff.
Because those people on the road who don't pull over for emergency vehicles.
That's
like,
right.
I have an
Locking up.
emergency email.
layers. Sent with importance.
It's high importance. It must get there faster.
Okay. Jason Jones, for everybody's sake, is an incredible pro-life warrior.
Yeah.
Bella was his film. He does the movie-to-movement work. Has talked in front of the UN before. Like, I'm just plugging for this guy.
Yeah.
Like, follow his stuff, and he will not hold back on what's going on in the Middle East, in America, and his story is so powerful. He's the best speaker I've ever seen at one of those. Actually, I was sitting with you at your table at Birth Choice Dallas. His speech there was the best I've ever seen anybody give.
No, Jason is phenomenal. Now, I still do blame him for not showing up at our wedding after he set us up. So, he's a 9 out of 10.
Yeah.
I'm detecting
Maybe 7 out of 11.
I'm detecting a grudge match.
And Jason was like a crazy kickboxer too. So he would like, every time he's come, we've tried to set it up to actually go down to my the gym I belong to, Fortis, which I, as a guy with 5 kids, never get to go to anymore. Fair. But I still belong. And so we've tried to arrange a couple of times when he's coming to town. I actually sent him down a couple of times because he's like, hey, I'm going to go at 1 o'clock. I'm like, I'm at work in the middle of the day. I can't just
I just
leave
bought
for
a company for
hours.
$21 billion. I'll see you at 1:30.
And so Jason he's awesome.
I'll give you 100 points if you get him on the show.
I'm done.
Okay. Go ahead, Mark. The 100 points. You're committed.
I like how my 100 points, like, I earned, I think that's worth more than 100, but then I have no opportunity to earn any more points. But I'm going to get my name on there. So like, I got 4th place.
Remember, 400 gets you a sock.
Just one?
one.
Did I get a pair?
Yeah, no, you got to get the full 800.
Got to get the full 800. So you got to earn them one at a time.
I actually just earned my sock on this show. My 2 socks.
Yeah, you got your
We're
first
going to have
pair.
a plaque that actually memorializes season 1
Sock.
points. So you really did make it on the plaque. So that's a big deal.
I feel it's a big deal. I thought it kind of was a big deal. Now I know I'm a big deal.
Exactly.
That's it. That's it.
I'll endorse you on LinkedIn for being a big deal.
I'm going to change my title.
Well, and also for writing what has become known throughout Beatitudes Nation as the greatest message ever spent on Myspace.com.
It was.
Yeah.
It might actually been the downfall of MySpace because after how great that email was,
crashed the whole.
it couldn't get any better. So like everything was disappointing after that. People were like, MySpace stinks anymore.
What song did
it's
you have on your profile? Do you remember this? You had to have a song, or you could have a song. I don't know if you had to. Did you guys have this? Like,
Oh,
kids?
absolutely. You had by the time I got there, it was like, oh, you have your top 8 and like
Oh,
you
there
want
was
to
like
show
a
that you
whole-
like know cool and interesting new bands that other people
I
haven't
read
heard
books.
of. I have a large library of leather-bound books.
I read books. I'm not sure how that factors in your top song. Yeah, there was also a time when like, you had to have a ringtone that was not your normal ringtone. Like, you didn't
Yeah.
have like I had like the A-Team and Superman theme.
Dun, 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 bum, bum.
Bum, bum.
Yeah. I pity a fool. Hey, my song on Myspace was "One Night in Bangkok and the World's Your Oyster." You know the song?
Wait, why are you pronouncing MySpace with an apostrophe and no Y? It's MySpace.
.com.
It's on the internet.
Okay, it's on the.
You'll find it.
Yeah.
I'll go
Or
look.
You'll find
MySpace.
Does this still exist?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it is out there. It was used by artists for a long time. I don't know
Yeah.
if they still do anymore.
I do a lot on there. I don't know if you
Remember
ever read
Tom
every
From
Yeah,
Myspace? Tom was everybody's friend.
you're
Like,
saying it now.
if you looked up people and like
Tom
Tom
did
was their
well.
only friend. You're like,
Yep.
okay, this guy's a this
Tom
guy,
did
this
well.
gal's a weirdo.
He sold that thing for $600 million or something like that.
Yeah.
And
I think news. I think he sold it to Rupert Murdoch News Corp, right? I think they
Yeah.
like wrote it off for like $0 next day.
correct.
Every morning I write content on myspace.com around 7:30, and it's just kind of thought leadership that I'm trying to put out there.
I mean, if you really want a truly undivided life, you need to be on all social media platforms.
That's what that means.
He's got you.
Oh gosh.
We need to have this guy back.
I know.
Yeah.
I'll leave. He can have my points. Maybe if I donate my points to some of our guests, maybe somebody can be in the running.
There you go.
I do want to brag about
kind of a collaboration or like conglomerate. Who you like? You're teaming up against people.
Oh yeah, this becomes like an island.
Yeah,
A tiny
It's
table
gonna
island.
survive.
I'm just gonna put this out there too. I think by this time next year we'll have this thing signed by Tim Tebow. I'm just gonna put the tiny table from Timmy.
Hey,
Tiny
Tim
Tim's
does some
tiny
great
table.
things.
Mm-hmm.
He's
I might
not
have a
tiny.
connection to Tim for you.
Oh.
You know he's coming to town and I'm gonna MC an event he's speaking at
Right.
in March. Yeah.
Oh, you don't need a connection.
No, I take all the connections we can get. Sponsored by Tim Tebow. Okay. I want to brag on you for one more thing, and let's close this out. So, Hope Supply, what is this?
So Hope Supply Co. is it's the charity in Dallas that really supports all other charities that serve homeless. So it's really serving all the homeless, the needs, essential needs of homeless or at risk to homeless children primarily. But that really, in order to serve the children, you also serve mom and dad. So if you think of like Genesis or Family Place, these places that are probably a lot more well known because they're shelters. They take in women and children who are in either abusive situations or just homeless, and there's other shelters around town. Almost all of those places will essentially shop at Hope Supply Co. They have a massive warehouse where they've like the #1 diaper bank in Texas, and so you're coming and getting your diapers, all your essential needs. Though people come into the warehouse, pack backpacks for kids because these children who are either homeless or at risk. The biggest thing is they don't feel normal, right? They might be 7, 8 years old and still wet in their bed, still, having accidents in their pants. So you want to give them as many of the essential needs as possible to feel normal. So getting a backpack, getting school uniforms, getting toiletries so they can show up to school looking normal. I actually think I was probably people probably thought the way I took care of myself as a kid that I couldn't. My mom was probably just embarrassed about the fact that I would show up with ripped up school uniform pants and stuff. But these kids, they have a need for it because their parents can't afford it or they don't have parents. And so Hope Supply is that backbone of all those organizations. And I got to get involved with it starting around 2011, and now I'm only on the advisory board. But I think it's one of the most underappreciated charities in Dallas.
That's like the people behind the people.
Yeah.
I remember when I got involved with In My Shoes, something that never dawned on me, even though it's very obvious when you say it out loud, and that's why I want to share this, is if you're trying to help homeless people, don't give them your used socks and your used shirt. Like, there's something about that. Like, sure, if somebody has nothing, anything is good, but the part of the dignity that you can unwrap a pair of socks that nobody's worn before is A, not expensive, and B, it does a lot to have this like dignity that you're not just getting something that people don't want, you're getting something that will make the 7 or 8 year old feel normal because it looks like it's clothes that were just bought.
Yeah, they get to own something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well said.
We take it for granted. I mean, one of the best things that we used to do, and being on the advisory board, I don't know if they still do anymore, that, spring break. This wasn't a thing where I grew up, like spring break in high school, kids, grade school, everybody goes everywhere here in Texas, right? You go away. Well, these kids don't go anywhere.
No.
So they actually used to run a camp, and I'm not sure if we actually are still run a camp, and these kids would get bused down to a camp every day. So when they came back from spring break, they got to tell a story about the camp they went to.
Awesome.
Right? It's just like that silly things that we take for
Yeah.
granted. Hey, I got to go on a vacation. Even if you just drive to some lake house, your kids come back and they're all telling that same story. And you never realize there's probably some kid sitting there just feeling less worthy because they're hearing all these other stories and they know that's not their life. And, so.
Well, David, this has been awesome. Thank you very much for this. If people want to look up Hope Supply, how do they find that group?
HopeSupplyCo.org.
Okay. It's on the internet?
I think.
Okay. Good.
I haven't found the internet yet.
And then if you want to find 7-Eleven, drive in different directions.
You'll probably find one.
Several hundred here
fly
in the
to Japan,
DFW.
you'll definitely find them.
Yeah, if you want to find a higher density of 7-Eleven.
Yeah.
I watched a comedian came in town right here to this Toyota Center, and he dropped a joke about Walmart and 7-Eleven, not realizing he was 2 miles from the headquarters, and it bombed so bad. It was not Louis C.K., but one of those names that sounds like that. That's a comedian. I've been looking up comedy lately. And it was so funny because I was like, you have no idea where you are. Like, half this audience.
Know your audience.
Works there. Yeah.
There was that. We went to, I haven't gotten to go to many comedy shows. We went to a comedy show right as COVID was ending with some friends. And it was a comic who knew his audience in Texas. And he was more right than left, more conservative, I guess. Who knows right or left. His opener, I think his opener canceled. And so they just had the guy from the bar open for him. And this guy was the complete opposite. Everything he said deadpanned on the audience. He was just he was like pro COVID. Everybody's like an idiot if you don't think the world's ending. Like just all these things. Like everybody else sitting there like, do you know where you are?
Yeah.
You're not.
Check.
You're not in friendly territory. Right. Just even if you think that way, just change your material for this audience
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
I got to tell y'all this one. My friend from high school, his sister called me and said, hey, can you make a video for our 10-year high school reunion? Just kind of commemorating this. And you know this story?
Yeah.
And can you also be a stand-up comedian? And I said, I'll make the video, but I know a guy who's a great stand-up comedian. Let me just book him for you. And she said, cool. I called my friend Josh Worthy and I said, hey, dude, I just booked you as a stand-up comedian. You have to do this. And he's like, what? He's never done this in his life. And I went in there and I videotaped him giving the worst stand-up comedy I've ever seen in my life. I was videotaping, but looking around, acting like I wasn't with him because I did not want anybody associating me with that guy. It was so terrible. Props to anybody who can do that. I'd like to give it a try.
Props to Josh Worthy for doing it.
Yeah.
He even tried to rip off other people's jokes and got them wrong. And he had like 4 double whiskeys right before, and he tried to do that deadpan voice that Stephen, whatever his name is, Stephen Wright. But the lack of inflection made him so incredibly hard to listen to. So, all right, props to Josh Worthy. We love you, buddy. We talked about fighting before. I one time kind of had a fisticuffs with him, and the next day he started the Fire Academy, and he kind of looked like Fight Club, and it gave him a lot of street cred.
Nice.
Sounds like a plan.
Nice.
Yeah, I love him. Feel free to punch either one of these guys now that you know them, and
Paul actually leaned away.
I think he did too. He put his arm. No, don't. You're tough but fair. Pride and Prejudice.
Nailed it.
All right, Paul's going to take us out of here.
All right. Well, thank you guys for tuning in for the bonus episode. Thank you to David for joining us again. And if we don't see you until the next one, we'll see you in the Eucharist. God bless. Thanks for tuning in. If you'd like to join us at our undersized table, subscribe to the video version of the show on YouTube by typing @ that's the symbol @, so shift and 2 on your keyboard, @ _Beatitudes on YouTube. We'll see you there.
This podcast is part of the Spoke Street Network. For more great podcasts, visit spokestreet.com.